Hey guys, it's Quay and welcome back to my YouTube channel. So in today's video we're going to be talking about performance activism and the rise of this influencer activist. Before we get started, definitely subscribe to my channel. It means so much to me. And without further ado, let's talk about it. I think on social media we place unrealistic expectations on influencers and we force them to speak up about social issues that they may not care about, or they may have little to no knowledge on the current trending issue. And they obviously speak up about these issues that are trending because there's a lot of pressure being put upon them by their following. And when they do speak up, it comes across as disingenuous because, well, it is. They really didn't want to talk about this in the first place, and you're forcing them to. What do you expect? And because of that, you now have a rise in fake performance activism where people will just post tweets and black out photos to show their support for the movement, for the cause. And it really doesn't do anything because it's like when you tweet your tweet, post your photo, then what? What happens after that? You go back to your regular mundane lives and there's still people who are being marginalized and taken advantage of. So yeah, you'll see a rise in influencers raising up their hands in solidarity while Macklemore plays in the background because that is activism. It's flawed logic and it's problematic. It's not the job of influencers to speak up about social issues, and it's nice when they do it and they speak about things that really affect them and things that they care about. That's amazing, that's great. However, it is not their job to talk about the next trending human rights issue that's going on in the world, because let's face it, there's millions of issues that are going on in the world. There's no way for them to care about all of those issues. There's no way, it's impossible. Some issues just do not affect them and don't resonate with them on that kind of level where they do care, and that's okay. But forcing them to just talk about the next trending thing isn't going to bring about real change, because what can these influencers possibly do? Absolutely nothing. They hold no power. If you want to bring about real change, I suggest going after the politicians, the lawmakers, the people who really do have the power to change the current policies that are in place, not these influencers, because I'm sorry, what is Tana Mojo going to do about social change? Absolutely nothing. And I know what you guys are going to say, well, they're bringing awareness when they speak about these things. Yes and no. To a certain extent, bringing up awareness is pointless because there's already awareness around said issue. So how much awareness do you need when there's already awareness around it? Let's use Black Lives Matter, for example. There is so much awareness about that. Everybody knows. Everybody knows about that. So bringing awareness to something that's already been talked about, that's already known, is kind of pointless because it's like we already know about it. And so what? What's the point? What's the substance? Like, there's no substance to it. And then that brings me to my next point. Signing petitions isn't really going to do much. What are these influencers going to do? Give you a link to a petition to sign? Signing petitions doesn't really bring about change in most cases. When we're talking about injustices in third world countries, your petitions are not doing anything. And I'm so sorry to say it like that, but it's the truth. Your petitions are truly, they don't matter. Because what happens is, yeah, you sign a petition, it has over 1 million signatures, so what? The only people who can really bring about change are these politicians, and if they don't view your petition as nothing more than just a signature online, no change is going to be brought about. And these are third world countries. Money runs everything, not signatures on a petition on change.org. Nothing's really going to change when you really think about it. You have to go after these politicians and not these influencers, because they can't do anything. That sounded kind of harsh, I'm not gonna lie. And I don't mean for it to sound harsh and off-putting. I think it's because I haven't eaten yet, so I'm kind of a bitch, but I don't want this to come across as like, ugh. And if it is, I'm really sorry. And to piggyback off of that, when these brands post hashtag BLM in their IG bios, what does that mean? It means absolutely nothing. Yeah, it shows that they support, but it's just the hashtag. Nothing is really being done, and these brands will go back to being problematic, like usual, come Monday. Same thing with Pride Month, when these brands post up their LGBTQ flag for the month of June, and then as soon as June's over, they go back to business as usual. Do you see what I'm trying to get at here? It's performative. There's real activists out there who are fighting the good fight and fighting to really make a change in this world. And I'm not saying that all performance activism is bad, because it does help bring awareness. However, forcing your favorite influencer to, as long as being an activist is trendy, these influencers will pick and choose what causes they want to support faster than Fashion Nova can rip off the next indie designer. And that's just the harsh truth of it. We can't force this kind of activism on these influencers because it comes across as disingenuous. And you want people to support causes and movements because they genuinely care about it, not because you're being pressured to do it by their audience. A perfect example is Chrissy Teigen. She was a big-time advocate for anti-bullying. Come to find out, she was bullying a minor behind the scenes. Again, performance activism. It doesn't make sense, and it's a slap in the face to real activists who are really trying to make change when you can just tweet a tweet and that is all the activism that you're going to do for today. It doesn't work like that. There's real activists out here whose words and the good that they're doing get muddled up in this world of social media where everyone is rushing to influencers. It's like everybody has a savior complex, and couple that with access to the internet, you get people who think doing the bare minimum is, well, being an activist and being woke. I don't know. And like I was saying earlier, there's millions of issues going on in the world. Let's say you have 10 that are really close to you. Out of those 10, there's probably about 2 or 1 that you really care about the most, that you put most of your time and energy towards, because it's extremely hard to put your time, energy, and money across all 10 causes evenly. That doesn't mean you don't care about them at all. That doesn't mean you don't care about the other 9. It just means one of them resonates with you more. Let's use cancer, for example. We all know that cancer is a horrible disease and it claims the lives of millions of people each year. But for someone who isn't affected by cancer, or doesn't have anyone in their family who's affected by it, they're not really going to donate to a cancer foundation. They might end up donating to, a homeless foundation because someone they knew was, homeless and that affected them deeply, or maybe they were homeless at one point in time. Do you see what I'm trying to say? It doesn't mean they don't care, it just means different issues resonate with them on a different level. And that's okay, because there's millions of people in the world, and there's going to be an issue for everyone that resonates with them. I think we should stop policing injustices and just allow people to find out about them and educate themselves on it without bashing and forcing them to speak up about something, because sometimes people are not comfortable speaking up about certain issues, and that's okay. Not everyone wants to be an activist. Not everybody wants to do that, and that is okay. So to bash people for not speaking up about something is kind of flawed logic, because you don't know what they're doing behind the scenes. And it sucks that we live in this day of social media where everything you do has to be blasted online or else you didn't do it, because some people truly are doing so much and they just don't want the world to know about it, because that's their business, not yours. So let's be a little bit more compassionate. While I can say that performance activism does bring about awareness to certain issues, it doesn't do much to bring about real change. It is a performance to amplify oneself in the eyes of, well, the masses. So it really isn't doing much. But I guess awareness is always good, to a certain point. I don't think it's the job of these influencers to be the voice of change. You followed them because of their glamorous lifestyle and how they made you feel, not because they were activists. There's real activists out there who have social media platforms, and I suggest you follow them because they're the ones who are really bringing about change. Anyways, that's all for today's video. Definitely let me know your thoughts and comments on performance activism, if you're a fan of it, if you're not a fan, if you think all activism is good activism, or if you think I'm just stupid. Definitely comment your opinions down below. Till next time, stay pretty, and remember, performance activism isn't really activism.